What if the land beneath your feet was slowly shifting, inch by inch, without a sound? Every year, some dunes creep forward by meters, rewriting the landscape in silence. A caravan of camels stood motionless in the vast emptiness of the Namib Desert, their riders watching the dunes rise like waves. The wind had been howling for days, but the desert floor remained eerily quiet. Then, the first grain of sand struck the back of a rider's hand. It was a whisper, but it carried a warning. The dunes were moving, and they were coming for the caravan. The shift began as a faint tremor in the sand. At first, it was hard to tell if the ground was settling or if the wind had stirred something unseen. But as the sun climbed higher, the movement became undeniable. Sand flowed from one ridge to another, carving new paths and swallowing the old. The dunes were not just shifting, they were advancing, like a slow, relentless tide. The local guides had seen this before. They knew the desert's rhythm, the way the wind dictated the shape of the land. But this was different. This was not just a normal drift of sand. This was a march. The dunes were not just moving, they were reclaiming the land, and the town of Oranjek had already been buried beneath them. The town had been there for decades, a cluster of stone and wood built against the desert's will. But the dunes had patience. They crept in at night, reshaping the land under the cover of darkness. By morning, the streets had vanished and the buildings had been swallowed whole. The people had fled, but the sand did not stop. It moved on, inch by inch, year by year, until nothing was left but the memory of a place that once was. State Highway 12 vanishes under a fresh ridge of sand. The asphalt is gone. Only the top of a weathered sign remains, half sunk in the slip face where grains cascade downward. This isn't debris from a storm, it's active movement. Last year, the dune crept 3 meters over the road. This spring, it advanced 5 meters. The sand doesn't pile, it rebuilds itself layer by layer, grain by grain, beneath the wind's relentless push. The town of Oranjek was swallowed whole. Now, the road is next. Dunes move because wind lifts sand grains up the gentle Stoss slope. The wind carries them until they tumble over the steep lee face. Each grain shifts just slightly downwind, creating a slow-motion avalanche. Crescent-shaped Barkhan dunes, the fastest movers, creep at several meters yearly. Their sharp horns point directly downwind, like a thumbprint pressed into the sand. This shape isn't random. It's the dune's signature, revealing the wind's constant direction. The dune doesn't flow like water. It rebuilds itself endlessly from the same sand. Some dunes produce a deep, resonant drone. It rises during avalanches on the slip face. Hundreds of thousands of grains slide in unison, vibrating at the same frequency. This isn't myth. Scientists measure it precisely, 50 to 100 hertz. The sound carries for miles across the erg, a low hum felt in the chest as much as heard. It's the sound of the desert moving made audible. The sand isn't still. It's singing its slow, steady song. The town of Eucla, Western Australia, faced this reality in the 1890s. Dunes drifted steadily inland, burying roads and fences. The railway station disappeared beneath a new dune. The town's foundations vanished. People had to abandon their homes, relocating eastward. They didn't flee a sudden disaster. They left the sand's patient, relentless work. The dunes didn't stop moving after the town was gone. They kept advancing, one grain at a time, reclaiming the land the people had left behind. The desert had its way. The dunes advanced past Eucla's abandoned foundations. No wind howls, just the dry crunch of sand shifting over old fence posts, a sound like cinnamon dust settling on broken glass. Grain by grain, the dunes reclaim the town. Roads vanish beneath a smooth, slow slope. Fences vanish. The railway station's wooden platform is gone, swallowed whole. Only the ghost of a foundation stone remains, half buried under a fresh ripple of sand. The land breathes without people. The silence holds the weight of what's buried, the hollow where a kitchen stood, the empty lot where children once played. The singing dunes hum at 50 to 100 hertz, a deep vibration felt in the chest, not just heard. It rises when sand avalanches down the slip face, a resonant drone that carries for miles across the erg. Scientists measure it precisely, 50 to 100 cycles per second. The grains slide in unison, like a billion tiny hammers hitting the same note. But the asterisk why remains unresolved. Why do they sink? Why that specific pitch? The sound isn't constant. It only emerges during avalanches, a sudden pulse when thousands of grains cascade together. The leading theory suggests the grains vibrate as they collide during the slide. Another proposes trapped air resonating within the sand structure. Neither explains the perfect pitch across vast distances. Field studies show the hum varies with dune size, sand composition, and wind speed. But the exact mechanism, the data maps the mystery deeper. It's like listening to a locked door hum. It tells you something's inside, but not what. To settle this, scientists would need sensors embedded asterisk within asterisk active dunes during an avalanche. Real-time recordings of grain movement, vibration frequency, and airflow, not just measurements, but the physics of the vibration itself. Without that, the hum stays a beautiful, unexplained pulse beneath the desert floor. The desert moves, sings, and keeps its secret. Do dunes remember the trains they buried?